Now, when I was thinking about this topic, right, I was thinking about, okay, so who are the three men that I know that can do justice to this conversation? And I said, I'd like to have Dr. Tandoh, I'd like to have Mr. Duke Ekpeyong, and I'd like to have Mr. Ibibia Iniworikabo, because I have had to sit down at 3 different instances with you, and I knew that if you brought together your different experiences and biographical tools, that we'll be able to create a template that would help men to become the fathers that their children truly need. So thank you very much. But before we go into the meat of the matter, I want to ask some foundational questions. And I would like to ask, and this question is thrown open to all 3 of you, so you can answer one person at a time. What was it like being a son to your father? I mean, as young men, you were once sons and you had fathers. So what was it like? What did you like about, what were the things that you liked about the way that your father fathered you? And what were the things that you thought, when I grow up, I'm going to make some improvement on those things? Dr. Tandoh, I'll start with you.
Yeah, yes, what was it like growing up with my father? I must say it was very, very exciting times for me. I was the first child, also the first son, and my father was always made me feel that he was very proud of me. Growing up, it wasn't that kind of father that he was. I won't say he was a disciplinarian. But he was firm, and I actually imbibed a lot from him. I learned a lot from him. Growing up, he was also someone that I looked up to in terms of his lifestyle, his achievements, and for me, he was a mentor, and it has shown in most of what I'm doing, even at this time, that I picked up quite a bit from him. And he showed me a lot in terms of how one should go about life, very content with himself, with whatever he had. And he was also someone that went out of his way to help someone, anyone. I mean, once you tell him you have an issue or a problem, he will take it even more seriously than you yourself. So I would say I really learned a lot from that. Like I summarized earlier, I think he's definitely my mentor.
Good. So you had a connection with him.
Oh, definitely.
Okay, very good. So Mr. Iniworikabo.
Yeah. Well, I would say I had a father. I was speaking the past tense because he's late now. I had a father that had a very tremendous effect on who I have become today. Let me just start by saying that he was a civil servant, which meant he was always around in case you needed any support. He was always around. You know, those days, civil servants closed by 3:30 p.m. So by 4 o'clock, he was at home. He was one father that I noticed that almost had siesta every day, which I have never had since I grew up, because I ended up not being a civil servant, which would be one of the things I would say I didn't like about him. He was a disciplinarian, and mostly in words. I mean, mostly in actions, and not much of welding the big stick. My mom was the one that welded most of the big stick. He was mostly in his words and his actions. I learned a lot from him, from what I saw from his lifestyle, the kind of values he taught us as his children. which went a long way to mold my own value system today, and whom I have turned out to be. So I would say he had a wonderful influence on me, and I think maybe my children will be in a better position to answer that, what kind of father I have turned out to be. I want to say I don't think it's been that bad, you know. So his influence was quite positive and good.
Yeah, this influence. So yeah, I can see again there was a relationship and a connection.
All right.
Yeah, and Mr. Kpeyon.
Yes, IB. Thank you so very much once again. I had a fantastic father who was an awesome woman. Amen.
Hey.
Apparently, I grew up not knowing my father because he passed when I was barely 2. And my younger sister was barely 6 months old. The eldest was about 5. Okay. And my parents had 4 of us. So I grew up with my mother and my 3 sisters, and my mother playing the role of both father and mother. And she obviously became my own role model. One of the things I noted when I was just pondering upon the topic of today was that you are the man. I had written something down that says, you are the man that your sons may most likely turn out to be tomorrow. You are the man that your daughters will set as the standard for men when they are looking out to settle down. Okay, but in talking today, I began to ask myself,